Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bunny Smacker, and today I'm reviewing Palworld. Palworld is a monster taming game created and published by Japanese developer Pocket Pair. It was announced in 2021 and launched through early access for Windows, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series systems in January 2024, and for the PlayStation 5 in September of 2024. The game was fully released just this month on July 10th, 2026. The game is set in an open world populated with animal-like creatures called pals, which players can battle and capture to use for base building, transversal, and combat. Players may also assign the pals to bases where they will automatically complete tasks for the player. Palworld can be played either solo or online with up to 32 players on one server. The game's premise, which involves using firearms and equipping pals with them, has earned it the nickname Pokemon with Guns. Other elements, such as using pals for food or as manual labor in mines and factories, has also garnered a mixed reaction, with praise for its gameplay, content, and satirical premise, but criticism for its reliance on shark humor and its use of unoriginal ideas and mechanics, which we will get into later. The gameplay for Palworld: players will control a customizable avatar from a third-person perspective and explore the open-world Palworld Island. Players must manage their hunger levels, craft basic tools, gather materials, and build bases that act as fast travel points. Unlocks through a technology tree allow the players to craft and use weapons, structures, and decorations. The islands are inhabited by 187 different types of creatures called pals, which players directly engage in combat with to weaken and then capture using pal spears. Pals can also be bought on the black market through non-playable characters or traded with other players. After obtaining pals, they can be summoned to battle or stationed at bases to assist with tasks, such as scavenging, crafting, and cooking, depending on their type. Each pal has a partner skill, allowing further utility by using them as weapons or mounts. The game's bosses include various factions, such as the Rayan Syndicate, the Free Pal Alliance Libertation Movement, the Brothers of the Eternal Pyre, the Palworld Islands Defense Force, and the Pal Genetic Research Unit. These factions are led by powerful Pal trainers who reside in towers across the islands and are the game's main boss battles. The factions inside include human NPCs who occasionally spawn in the world, either patrolling or battling each other, who are hostile to the player and can fight them with weapons. The game features a wanted level system. If the player commits a crime, usually against humans, other human NPCs will become hostile, and Defense Force troopers will spawn to attack them till they are killed or evade their pursuers. Palworld is being developed and published by Pocket Pair, an independent doujin soft company based in Shinagawa, Tokyo. It is their second early access open world survival project, following Craftopia. Like it uses gameplay mechanics reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but has added creature collecting mechanics popularized by the Pokemon franchise. Pocket Pair said that Pokemon was not one of their main inspirations. According to the Pocket Pair CEO, the concept of Palworld is based on Ark Survival Evolved, which also had monster companions in dinosaurs. The survival mechanics and in-game tasks were inspired by Rust. RimWorld was also cited as a major inspiration for the game. Palworld uses more original assets than Craftopia, which proved to be challenging for the team. Early in development, it was decided to move Palworld from Unity, which powered Pocket Pair's earlier projects, to the Unreal Engine 4, as they decided it was more suitable for heavier open-world games. It was first planned to release in 2022, but the deadline was extended to August 2023 as the scope of the project grew and the company hired more staff, and then once again to support dedicated servers on launch. When early access began, the game was estimated to be about 60% complete. In total, the budget exceeded 1 billion yen, and the company hired over 40 additional employees. The game's director applied during a Twitter recruitment run, despite already lining up a position at NetEase. The main character designer for the PALs was initially rejected during the October 2020 recruitment drive for illustrators, but was hired when she reapplied in February. The graphics of Palworld are heavily stylized. Much like the game Pocket Pair made before Craftopia, it was heavily inspired by The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and to a lesser extent, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I think the painted look does make it hide a lot of the low poly, or at least empty-ish world, so I do believe it was a smart choice. I think it would have been better to have the entire game be smaller in scope. I imagine a lot of the reason it feels so empty at times is due to how large the map is. However, for a $30 game, the graphics don't really need to be photorealistic, and it does look a lot better than most of the mainline Pokemon games. So it is really hard to hate on the graphics. The music for the game Palworld is what I would call epic. I don't know why they went so hard on such a weird game, but they did, and I'm thankful for it. Here are a few of my favorites. How did I feel overall about Palworld? Well, my biggest complaint about the game isn't the resource gathering, the item crafting, the base building, or the fact that you basically have the pals as your slaves at your base. It's the unoriginality of everything in the game. Now maybe it's because both Elden Ring and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild are my favorite video games of all time, 1 and 2 respectively. But to see the game have churches where your main upgrades are located, Everjails that house pals, with fights that are cut off from the rest of the game world, and Spirit Springs where your character can ascend or descend quickly, just all comes across as less of a homage and more of a stolen idea. Frankly, it makes me just want to play Elden Ring over Palworld. So if that's what they were going for, good job. Then you have climbing and gliding around the world, and that feels just far less janky in Breath of the Wild. And these comparisons just end up making the game feel like it's taking game mechanics from 10 out of 10 games and somehow turning them into 7 out of 10 game mechanics. Even the roaming pals that are purposely higher level than me, sniping me off screen, makes me wish I was playing Pokemon Legends Arceus instead. And the wanted system from GTA being in this game, while comical at first, it really just has me pause and ask, but why? Why are there so many ideas from better games here, and they all just end up feeling unfinished and unrefined? Now, I have no problem recommending Palworld to almost anyone. I think being a $30 game and having hundreds of hours of content is a no-brainer. However, I really thought a lot of these mechanics would have started to feel better now that the game is fully out of early access. Obviously, I'm comparing it to the likes of Nintendo and From Software, which normally would feel incredibly unfair. However, when Pocket Pair is literally copying their homework, and it just misses the mark by what I would argue is a large margin, I can't help but feel like the game could be better. Is Palworld a game worth your money? Again, absolutely. If you're a sicko that loves crafting and managing a base, you will get a ton of mileage from this. As a strictly Pokemon game, I still think it's worth it. I guess I'm just surprised it's getting so much praise. This game for me is the inverse of the score for Elden Ring Night Rain, where the internet saw that as a C+, and I saw that as an A. Now it's the opposite. To me, Palworld is a solid C+, but the internet has decided it is an A to A+. All that being said, I'm looking forward to the next one from Pocket Pair, because I do think that if they refine the kitchen sink approach, they'll be one to look out for. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Same bunny time, same bunny channel. Alright, see ya.